get your gum shield in, pull your gloves on and get ready to rumble, because this is the return of the Retrocast. Welcome to the return of the Retrocast, God is a Geek's destination for the best in retro gaming excellence. Every fortnight you can join me in reminiscing about a classic or maybe even not so classic entry from the gaming archives. This time around I'm going to be mixing things up a bit with a few episodes based around a variety of subjects, from focused discussions on particular games to episodes based around wider retro gaming subjects, and maybe even a few top 10s as well for good measure. But enough of my babble, because this episode I'm talking about one of the greatest renditions of a sport ever committed to a video game. Super Punch-Out never quite reached the popularity of the NES smash hit, likely because it lacked the star power in regards to Mike Tyson's legendary appearance as the final boss, before later being palette swapped into the rather less legendary Mr. Dream. For me personally, I think that this SNES follow-up is the better game, with a more authentic rendition of the original arcade experience. I have no interest in the sport of boxing, but its simplicity makes for an incredibly engaging arcade experience, which Super Punch-Out gets across really well. The controls are simple, using just a few buttons and the D-pad used in various combinations to let rip with a flurry of jabs, dodges, blocks and knockout blows. Meanwhile, the behind the box review allows Nintendo to make the cast of larger than life opponents that granted are possibly a little offensive in their approach to international stereotypes, but are memorable in both their appearance, personality and fighting style. There's a gigantic Canadian bear hugger whose impenetrable stomach becomes your first real challenge of the game, as you need to concentrate your punches on his bearded face. Just watch out for his nastiest move as he clubs your fragile head with both of his shovel-like hands, a technique which will knock you out unless you dodge or punch him at the exact right time. From then on, it's abundantly clear that the traditional Marquis of Queensberry rules do not apply to the World Video Boxing Association. That is especially apparent once you face an oriental martial artist who isn't shy of putting his foot in it. Your face, I mean. Yes, you'll be fighting a ton of dirty fighters, some of which look like they probably walked into the wrong ring entirely. But these crazy opponents are not invincible, although they are pretty tough to beat unless you know how. Much like the NES game, it's all about watching your opponent and trying to identify their weak points and finding the best time to hit those areas. Some fighters are more susceptible to a punch in the jaw, while others go queasy when punched in the midriff a few times. In some cases, a well-timed punch in the middle of an opponent's special move is enough to knock them completely out. And it's all about memorisation in the time-honoured arcade tradition, although fast reflexes are also an incredibly useful skill to have, especially from under pressure from a flurry of punches. Of course, the racial stereotypes that the Punch-Out series is well known for remain very much a part of this SNES entry. Some of the slightly suspect characters include the laid-back Rastafarian Bob Charlie, the aforementioned Oriental Master Dragon Chan, and the fighting Irishman Aaron Ryan. As Kenny Everett said on many an occasion, it's all done in the best possible taste. Ultimately, Super Punch-Out takes the best parts of the arcade games and the NES version to create a compelling and larger-than-life rendition of boxing, one that is a largely unsung title on the Super Nintendo. It's less of a sports sim and more of a fun arcade experience that can be enjoyed by all. If you want to play this game for yourself, it's actually available right now on the Wii U's Virtual Console service. Thank you so much for watching this very first episode of the new and improved Retrocast. You can expect another episode in 2 weeks, but if you can't wait that long, I'll be back next week with the return of Reasons to be Cheerful. If you want to see more videos, I highly recommend you subscribe to God is a Geek, as we have videos coming out practically every day, and you wouldn't want to miss that out, would you?
Should have backed the God is a Geek Patreon.